Hello, and welcome to the Goodnight channel. I'm Jake.
I'm PJ, and together we're trying to complete the 52 game challenge. This week we played Pony Island, game 11 of 52. Insert a fraction joke here. I can't think of one. I'm probably not going to be able to think of one now that I realize that there's like 40 more games left.
Pony Island was developed by Daniel Mullins Games and is a self-described suspense puzzle game. Do you want to run us through the story? A quick synopsis?
Beginning of the game. Boss fights. Puzzle segment. Aussie whatever? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Perfect.
That's what I have written down for the story. So.
That was the cliff notes of the game.
That was the cliff notes. I don't even know what question mark, question mark, question mark was supposed to be. Great. I have no idea how to decipher these notes. Maybe it's just this game just got too much in my mind, you know, dude?
What?
The game, man. It's got in my head.
You're scaring me, dude.
You don't know where the PJ ends and the Joker begins. Anyway.
I think I need help. I think you need help more than I need help, actually.
So, the game starts... Maybe it doesn't start like this. I'm pretty sure the game starts... And you're in, like, a Unity 3D environment. And, like, your character... You don't have any control. You, like, walk up to an arcade cabinet. A quick backstory. This game came about because Daniel Mullins was trying to do... it was part of, like, a game jam type deal.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and...
It feels like a game jam game.
It's one of those type games. It had to take place all on one screen. That's the point of the game, which, does it really? No, but, you know, that's okay. In the game world, because you're looking at the screen, your character is technically looking at the screen,
yeah,
I guess, so that's how you reconcile that, even though I don't think that really counts. I would have been like, see me after class.
Yeah.
I wrote it on red, and then he would have explained it, and I went, you're on thin ice, Jamie.
B minus.
B minus. So you walk up to this thing, and it's like, Pony Island. It's got ponies in it. And you can't do anything. You're on the home screen. You can't do shit, I think.
Yeah, the menus don't work.
Yeah, the menus don't work. So the first thing you have to do is enable start game or something. You have to enable the game, basically. And then you're running around, and it's like an endless runner type game.
Yeah, you just jump over what I thought were just poles. Turns out they're gates.
Yeah, they're fence gates.
But you wouldn't know that because it's 2D.
Yeah.
It's a 2D side-scrolling jump-over-fence game.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in arcades, so it makes sense. And then you get to a flagpole, and that's it.
Yeah, just like Mario. But no fireworks.
No. And then I think a voice talks to you and is like, don't do that. I might be wrong. Don't know.
I played this yesterday.
I've already forgotten.
You already remember more than I do, because I don't remember any of this game.
Okay, it's like a broken arcade game. So I think a voice talks to you and it's like, don't do that.
Yeah, some blue text comes up.
I don't care. Eventually you get booted to a screen and you're
You
like...
get to the desktop.
Oh, wait. I think he's like, well, now there's enemies.
Yeah.
There's like devil enemies.
Oh, the game's too easy. Here's devil enemies that float around you. And
so
you can't beat them.
You can't beat them. So you got to go into the menu, enable lasers.
But it doesn't work.
No, it does work.
It doesn't work. You have to hack it to activate it.
What the fuck ever.
You like click it, but it doesn't go through. And
you gotta hack it.
So like throughout the game, these little swirls appear.
They're hack swirls.
And you click on them, and it shows you the code of the game.
Yeah.
And this is where the puzzle segments begin.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I mean, you know more about it than I do. Like, when you're programming, and you see all those little holes, and you're like...
Yeah.
That's how you get shit to work.
When I built our website, I went, oh, shit, there's all these holes. We pump in a couple down arrows and...
down arrow, left arrow.
Boom.
Boom, damn. Bada bing, bada boom.
And then that's how our website works.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So if you go right-click on the source code, go look at all the arrows I put in there.
Yeah. Very well constructed, I thought.
Yeah.
The puzzle segments are fun.
Yeah, they feel like a simpler programming puzzle. Like if you've ever played like a programming game for kids, there's quite a few of them on the internet. The last one I played was the Christmas one for Google. Google made a weird Christmas puzzle game based on presents, I think, and elves, and they were just really programming questions and how to make loops and different things. I mean, it was really interesting and way more complex than this game ever gets, but it's still similar where it's showing you programming languages, so you have to understand what programming languages actually mean when you're like, oh, a variable is going to change this value here. Like, you need to know that in these little segments you're doing. It's actually kind of interesting because I was like, oh, I know this. Like, these make sense. Like, I don't know if someone else would understand these because they're kind of cryptic. They're almost like code words, but they're really not. Like, it's just programming language. Yeah, the puzzle segments. Like, there's things. I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit. I'm sorry. As you progress, they add like
variables,
like math problems into them.
Yeah,
and you have to know what any of it's doing. I don't know if some people would get that because it's very weird.
I think it's simple enough to understand.
I wasn't sure. It just seemed strange.
Again, the problem is I've coded a tiny bit in JavaScript, and so it's just like I saw that and immediately was like, I get it. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe people are dumb. Who aren't cool coders. Yeah.
Cool coders.
I'm sorry.
Coolcoders.com.
Coolcoderguys.co.
Want some hot guys to code your website? Coolcoders.com.
Code life.
Anyway, I think that's called a programmer.
Anyway, so you do that for a while. You get booted to a desktop. I don't know. You get booted to a desktop and a
chat window opens up.
And it's like, I'm trapped in the game. And you're like, I guess I am too. You can type to him.
It doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah, I said dick muscle over and over. So I know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It was like dick muscle. And then another chat window opens up and it's like, no, I'm Satan. I think his name's like
Lucifer, but with
speak. Like I was like, this is funny. Like they're doing at this moment in time, I was like, oh, they're doing like because there's a bunch of games like this that are like, yeah, you're trapped in the game, especially on like Newgrounds and stuff like that. Like you had mentioned, it felt like a Newgrounds game, and I agree with that.
It feels like a Flash game.
Yeah, but it at this moment in time, it kind of feels like they're taking it so far and making it funny.
Yeah.
You know, like they're as a British person would say, taking the piss.
A bridge person?
A British person, not a bridge person, not a bridge troll.
Got it.
A British person. So they're kind of taking the piss out of these games that are like you're trapped in, or like that have like scary undertones hidden behind cute facade.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. I was wrong, but that's what I thought.
I like that this game didn't pretend to be something else. Like a lot of these games, I feel always try to like, oh, look, we're a regular pony game, but underneath is a whole Satan subplot. But here the Satan subplot is the game. Like, they're not trying to hide it and go. And so people go, oh, yeah, the broom closet ending. Like, you know, it's not like there's some hidden memes in here. This is a game where you're trapped in an arcade. There's no, like, subtlety to it. And I kind of like that about it. It's not trying to, like, I'm trying to think of another game recently that's, like Portal, you think, oh, you're just going to do Portal puzzles. But then you find the darker undertones as you continue through the game.
Yeah,
you go, oh, there's...
It works really well in Portal.
I understand.
There are games.
But there are so many now doing that same market.
I would say Aversion, which is a game that I like, I guess. Aversion. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
It's a platformer that has a very similar kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work nearly as well.
There's a game, I can't think of the name currently, but it's a Lovecraftian horror game based around Portal, and that's it starts out like a normal Portal game, but then shit gets fucked.
Shit gets fucked,
and the whole world gets all crazy, and there's Lovecraftian monsters, eldritch horrors, all that good stuff.
Cool.
But I mean,
is it?
No, the game's horrible. I have it for free on GOG, I think.
Oh, so
if you ever want to play it, I'll send it to you.
Cool.
All right.
Anyway,
back to the task at hand.
So then it's Lucifer takes over your mouse, makes you click on the game. You got to go through an adventure thing. I don't fucking know. You go through an adventure. You go through like an overworld version of the game where you go from world to world.
Yeah, kind of like a Mario world.
Yeah, except with no variation in themes on levels. You just go to levels.
And eventually you get a colored opposite world game.
Wait. You're jumping way ahead.
Am I?
Yeah.
I thought that was where
No.
you're at.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. You get wings at this point, I think. Yeah, it is. At this point,
because
this
you
is
jump
when you get
over
wings.
a continent.
Somewhere in here, you blow up what are called core files.
Yeah.
They're what make the game run. So you have these boss fights, which are really puzzle segments. You have 2 of them. I don't know when the first 2 happen. Could be any time, really.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I really can't. I really can't remember. I really can't.
I only remember, like, none of this game.
Yeah, I really don't. It was only 2 hours long, so this really speaks volumes. A lot of people really like this game.
It's edgy. That's all I think.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's catering to an audience that likes edgy things like this.
I don't think it's edgy. We'll get to it.
Okay.
I've got words.
Good. I don't.
I don't. At some point, you fight 2 core files, and they're like gatekeepers, and it's like Baphomet.
Oh, there's a core file being guarded by a guardian file.
Right. Yeah.
And the first one's kind of interesting. There's like you can see the core file, and it's in like a cage with locks.
Wait.
There's like
Is
locks
that
on each
one?
corners. I think that's the first one.
I think that the first one
Is simpler?
is the one where he's constantly moving the thing, so you can't get to it.
I thought that was the second one.
Could be.
The one where you have to make it bigger. Yeah, I thought that was the second one. The first one's the locks. The second one, the screen gets real weird.
Listen,
Because you have to keep going in and doing... Because that's by that point, you're doing a lot of the code stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the locks one, you're just figuring out the code stuff, I thought.
Yeah, I think you might be right, because anything you say might be right, because I don't remember. So.
All right.
You blow up these 2 core files at some point, and then the game kind of resets. It's like, you broke the game real fucking hard.
Yeah.
And then it restarts, and it's like a really colorful version. Before, it's all black and white.
Yeah.
Your pony's black and white, and it's got a lot of these like chromatic aberration effects going on.
Yeah, it has like a slight 3D effect with the blue and red. Is that what you said? Because you
That
said a
is
big
what I said.
word. I don't know what it means.
How do you not know what chromatic aberration is?
I don't know.
It's like when it's when the color splits on
Oh.
picture. It's like Soma, every single screen. When you only played like 2 seconds of Soma, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? It probably looked even worse with my frame rates. So
It's like the new thing.
is it?
Yeah,
Ugh.
a lot of games.
It's that vaporwave look. Copyright.
Copyright vaporwave.com. So, God, I really wish I had story notes written down.
I have tons of story
No,
notes.
fuck
written
your story notes. I like me just going through the story really shittily.
down. All I have are story notes.
Well,
All right.
fuck you.
My laptop died, so they're all
Thi-
gone now.
This is my favorite part of the whole game.
Yeah?
It's my second favorite part of the whole game.
The colorful part?
Yeah, I like Louis.
Louis funny.
Louis funny. His name's Louis. He's
just
just as a little Satan
Yeah, he's
man.
a little Satan.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Every once in a while I find the humor in this game really funny.
It's got a couple funny moments.
Yeah, I like him. He's probably the funniest part, I would say.
Yeah.
And so you go through. I don't really know what his goal is, because he's like, Louis shows up and he's bringing you through the game, but at the same time he's like bringing you to the end goal.
Does he get angry at you?
Yeah, he's like, you can stop now, and then
Yeah.
you shoot him and he's like, I got scary face now.
It felt like Flowery from
Yeah.
Undertale. Like that
Oh.
kind of character arc where he's like, oh, he's really nice. No, he's not. And you're like,
Except right away, you know he's not, because his name's Louis and he's dressed like a Satan man, and you've already dealt with Satan, so it feels
Yeah.
kind of odd that.
yeah, but it felt like that, like an
Yeah.
homage to Undertale's little like wacky characters. I don't know.
There's a lot of Undertale in this game,
Yeah,
I think.
it makes it worse in my
which-
opinion. I already hate Undertale.
No, fuck off.
I already hate Undertale fans
Yeah.
and fan games and fan art. So it's like,
Well, going through the game the first time, I was like, wow, there's a lot of that just feels like Undertale, but like secondhand Undertale.
Undertale-esque.
And then I found a thing, which I will talk about, that made me realize that was correct, and I'm a big smart.
I'm a big smart.
But for right now,
Yeah, I didn't do any research on this game.
Louis.
Louis.
Oh. Brings you copyright Black Flag. Brings you to
They're not the original.
What?
They're not the original.
Yeah, they are.
All right. I'm not going to get into it.
They made the song. Henry Rollins sat down with his pen and his paper while he was writing about other things, fighting the man.
His spoken word albums.
Spoken word albums.
In between his spoken word albums that he wrote out,
Louis.
he wrote Louis.
You know, that classic. That old almond.
Anyway.
So yeah, you're going through all this stuff. I'm sorry I'm making this game sound really boring.
It's because it is.
There's just not that much going on.
No.
You're going through level after level, and Louis like, yeah, you're doing it. Good job. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to back up a little bit. This is already so confusing. I'm so sorry. The Undertale thing. You know how if at the beginning of Undertale, and if you don't know, just download the demo, so it's not a spoiler. Fuck you. At the beginning of the demo for Undertale, there's a character who's teaching you things. And his name is Flowery or whatever. Flowery? Don't know. But he's like, these are friendliness pellets. They're very obviously bullets if you're familiar with any kind of shmup. So he says, run into them. They're good for you or whatever. And if you dodge them, he goes, how did you already know to dodge them? And he gets pissed. Louis does the same thing because if you shoot things before he tells you that you can shoot them, he's like, how did you already know how to do that? And he gets kind of pissed.
Yeah, but that's not... I mean, it's weird because you already knew that because of the previous segment. It's not like you had to start the game over to get that.
It just felt very much that.
Yeah, I don't like it. It left a sour taste. Like,
it felt very much like it, yeah. So you go through all that. I really don't know what his end goal is in like taking you through this game, because eventually you get to a point where you can then break the game more. So it seemed very counterintuitive for him. Don't know. But here is when you introduce things that you can't shoot. And if you hit them, you start over.
Yeah, and you're introduced to Jesus.
Yeah.
It says it on the screen.
He's Jesus.
You have killed Jesus.
Yeah.
So clearly he is Jesus on it. That's probably my favorite thing in the game.
Yeah.
Just the text that says
you killed
Jesus. And I went, "Oh, that's cool." Except it's also the most infuriating part of the game if you're me.
Yeah. So anyway, yada yada yada. You go through a bunch of stuff.
You beat it.
It seems like, this part really confuses me because in between levels you have puzzle stages, and he even calls them puzzle stages, where you're coding, but it doesn't look like you're coding. So I thought what was going to happen was you were recoding the game under the guise of like happy fun time flowers and butterflies.
Yeah.
But they're just puzzles.
They were just puzzles.
So really strange to me. I was like, oh, I get it. Like, he's tricking me because I can't stop because I'm playing the game. And at the same time, it doesn't look like I'm coding. It looks like I'm just doing puzzles. But you're not. You're just doing puzzles.
It was really weird because it didn't make sense because those segments weren't part of the original game. Because I felt like this was a cleaner veneer on it. Like, it was trying to show you like a 32-bit version of this 8-bit game. You know what I'm saying? Like a newer version. But why the hack segments are also in this, but not hacking, and it just seemed really out of place.
This whole game has a very big theme of out of place. Maybe that's the whole point. I just realized. Maybe it's all supposed to be out of place because you're a knight from old-timey lands.
I didn't get that subplot.
There's a story in the game.
Vague. I mean, they just show you pictures of things.
Yeah.
And you go, cool.
You're like a knight from the Middle Ages or a knight from the Crusades. You're a crusader. Maybe. Doesn't really matter. Has no pertinence to the plot. That's probably not a word that makes sense there.
The last game I played where I was a crusader or a knight or whatever was probably
Crusader
Eternal Darkness.
Kings 2. Oh.
Which is way more fun than this game.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so you beat that section. I think maybe other things happen. But I'm gonna skip right to Ozymandias.
No. So you beat that
Shit.
segment, and then you go back to that adventure map, but it's upside down now.
Oh, right.
And you explore this map a little bit if you choose. And if you do, you find a little guy who goes, I used to be the guard. Tell the guy my name. Something will happen.
Viewer.
Guess what?
Nothing
right after
happens.
this, you go talk to that guy. He doesn't care. No, you don't actually talk to him. I'm sorry, I lied. After that, you go to the second core.
Are you sure it's not the third core?
Second core. There's a whole nother section of the game before you get to the third core.
Really?
Yeah, where you play the 4 games.
Okay. Second core happens.
You fight the second core with this pony game thing that the delete core screen comes up, but you can't click on it. Is that what it says?
Sure.
And so you have to keep hacking to increase the frame size
Yeah.
because it keeps going to different parts of the screen. So if you make it big enough, it won't be able to move.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. And eventually you click on it and you're good. Yeah, you fight the second guy. He's really easy. The end. Now you're booted back to the desktop again. Actually, yeah, you're booted back to the desktop. And at this point, your friend is chatting with you again, and he goes, we have to go on his account. It's the only way, I think.
I swear this happens at a different time.
Well, when does it happen then? Because you're about to say the end game if you go with the third core.
I think this happens before Colorful Pony Island.
No.
Almost positive. Because
I looked.
Your friend is not the one who tells you this, though. Are you going to say that you have to play those 4 pony games?
Yeah, I thought it was your friend.
Nope.
Who tells you?
And you don't go on a different guy's account. That happens really, really far in the beginning.
No, that's...
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
I guarantee you,
You
because I
came
just
home
watched it.
And watched me do it.
I just watched it at work.
So did I. I watched it at work today.
But that's not... it's not your friend.
Well, I don't remember who, but it's after the
get a
color part.
What?
It's after the color part.
Well, yeah, this part is, but I don't think that whole going into the other guy's account,
Oh,
that's not in this part.
I thought it was.
No,
I don't remember.
You're on the one that you started at. You're on the desktop that you started at,
And you just go in the recycle bin?
Well, a prompt comes up and it's like you're talking to somebody, but it looks like it's coming from you. Like it doesn't say who it's coming from. It just says like when you type.
Oh, because I thought we went back onto our friend's account, and that's why, because you can't see his name because you're on his account.
No. You get this thing where it's like it's like an empty prompt basically, or I think it's actually his chat window, but it doesn't say his name anymore. It's like when you type, you get the double arrow, like the double arrows next to what you're typing, and it just keeps going, and it's just like, oh hey, and it's a guy who talks to you, and he's like, you move the chat screen, and there's he's like, I'm gonna put the recycle bin. We're gonna have to go through the things of your.
So who is it?
I think it's him, but I don't really fucking understand.
So I don't understand why are you.
But you don't go into the other guy's account. That whole thing where you're going into other people's accounts is from...
Well, I thought we went back onto the one guy's account.
I don't think you switch accounts.
Well, you switch accounts at one point, and here I thought...
I think in the beginning.
Yeah, but here you're just going back into that guy's, like, right away. You're not... Whatever, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
It really doesn't.
No.
You go through a
Inconsequential.
recycle bin and you
Play
click...
4 games, they're all awful.
Yeah.
There's 4 different games. Should we explain them?
Okay. The metagame... Let's get this out of the way real quick. The metagame just opens the game again. It's real funny.
Unless you don't have the patched version of the game, because you can erase your save by accident.
Cool.
Yep.
Real
Fantastic.
So the metagame does that. Evil Pony, it's like Devil Island or something. You just
Devil Island, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a devil version, and you have ponies fly at you, and you kill them.
Yeah.
It's just reversed.
Pony Island 3D makes you want to throw up.
Awful. Makes you really angry, too, because you missed the last jump.
Yeah. Text version. It's mildly funny.
I mean, I get it. It's funny.
So yeah, you do 3D Pony Island, which is like first person, and you jump over things, and there's nothing to do other than that.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's fine. It's long.
I like the text
really
adventure as a joke. Like
text adventure one is the best one.
it's just a little long.
Yeah. And then he's like, whichever one you click last, he's like, here it is. You did it. I'm going to take you to the core file. Takes you to the core file.
Yeah. And there's a guy there.
This one doesn't have a name. All the core files have like a name, or like a guardian that's guarding the core file. They all have like a name like Baphomet.exe or like Big Satan.exe. This one's just like a normal guy. Not normal, but like he doesn't have a demon name. His name's Ozymandias.
I mean, that sounds like a demon's name.
Does it? No, it sounds like I thought he was kind of like Ozymandias. Like
Yeah, that
Some
Satan character from The Watchmen.
from the who watchmans the watchers? So then he's like, hey, what's up? Tell me my name. And then PJ puts Ozymodeus, and Jake is a big smart man, and he puts Buer, and he goes, that old fool. Story goes here. Don't care anymore.
Because there wasn't anything else after that.
Yeah, so you get a little extra story thing if you explore, I guess. So yeah, this is actually a really cool boss fight, I think.
Yeah, because it starts to get a little more meta.
Yeah, just fun.
Which is cool, but again, ripped right off of Undertale, and its ending.
Yeah. Well, what I like about this one is that it's stupider, because what arcade game has a Steam overlay?
Listen, the whole thing made no sense. We'll get to that in a minute. So, yeah, during this fight, it's really strange. It would have worked a lot better, I think, if I had used a different Steam account than the one I did, because I'm using a Goodnight Channel one to kind of keep our games organized a little bit, make it a little more transparent what we're doing. You can add us on Steam if you want. Anyway.
Sponsored by Steam.com.
So, the only friend I have added is PJ here. And so he's standing right behind me physically as I'm playing the game, and all of a sudden a chat window comes up from PJ.
Massaging his shoulders like I do whenever he plays a game.
Yes.
Whispering in his ear, it'll be okay, you can do it.
Why would you tell them?
Transparency.
So yeah, at this point, a Steam window comes up with PJ's name, PJ's picture, everything. It looks like a legitimate window, and it's him saying hello. What are you doing? And generally just distracting me.
No. It's okay. So Ozymodeus' whole shtick
is distraction.
He's like, you got to always look at me.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, just say something embarrassing. Say something disgusting. And so you type something in. Jake said Buer, because he put Buer for literally everything.
I thought I was going to do something else, and it didn't, so it's pointless.
Much
Don't
to
do
the
that.
dismay of me, who had to watch him constantly restart.
Yeah, well, hey, had to know.
So
nothing lost, nothing gained.
When it did it for me, it was much more effective.
Yeah.
Because I put poop, because I'm hilarious. So I put poop, and then one of our friends who's online pretty often and who kind of talks to us every once in a while came up, his chat window came up, and it was like, poop, ? LOL. And I was like, oh, that's funny. It like posted to him. And then I was like, oh, that guy, he's funny.
Yeah.
And then, so it was, I mean, I got tricked.
Yeah, it worked really well for you.
I got straight jokered. And, that's not a joke that's going to make any sense.
I'm sure it will to somebody.
To someone out there. Yeah, I got tricked. And then when I realized that I was being distracted and, like, I knew right away I was being distracted.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of the whole point. But then when I realized that it wasn't actually him, I was like, oh, clever game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work for you at all.
No,
because it just, not only was it me who was right behind you, like, who was phone, but, like, also it was like, Buer ? LOL. So it's like, oh, that doesn't, it's not like poop.
Yeah. But I got it. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's clever anyway.
Yeah. Unless you immediately check your Steam overlay and nothing's there, and you go.
Well, he's like, because you check your Steam overlay, like, if you do it at that moment,
you screw up, because that's when he shows you what you need to type. So, I mean, it made sense. It was a good thing. It got you on all levels. It was good. Because I checked and I was like, PJ's talking to me? So right here?
He keeps typing stuff. He's like,
he has a little animation at one point, like. I don't know. It's a fun little fight. I get it. Like,
yeah, the game crashes at one point.
Well, it like pretends to soft lock.
Yeah,
and it comes up like, "Please close this window or wait to continue,"
which is clever. I closed it once, so clearly I'm dumb enough to click it.
I just figured whatever. I don't know. I didn't click it.
And then you beat the fight, and he's like, I'm gonna let you blow up the file because I'm bored, basically.
Yeah.
And so you do.
And then you get a blue screen of death.
Do you?
Yep, and it says, now you're in recovery mode.
Oh, yeah.
And your friend shows up, and he's a ghost.
And he's like, I'm stupid looking. And I'm like, yeah, you are, buddy.
You're dumb. You should die.
And then you get turned into a pony.
Yep.
And
everybody gets turned into a pony.
Yeah, all the lost souls get turned into a pony. You have a big boss fight that means nothing.
Yep.
Totally meaningless. About a big Satan man comes down, and he's like, get down with the devil.
Get down with the devil.
Gotta slip it in somewhere. um, so he flies down. And he's like, "I'm gonna take all your souls," and you're like, "Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me."
And so you shoot him with lasers, and some ponies die, and then you beat the game.
Oh, and then Louis comes.
Louis does come.
Kill the shit out of him. Satan comes back. All the ponies rip his legs off.
It's pretty radical.
Oh, radical. And then the lost soul comes up. Hopeless Soul. Hopeless Soul is his name. He's your buddy who's kind of helping you out through the whole game.
And he says, I gotta stay behind, buddy.
You gotta just turn on... He's like, yeah, the only way I'm gonna be able to get out is if you delete the game. And I'm like, wow. All right, Undertale. Yet again.
You really did it.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And then
Original plot, do not steal.
He closes the game. Well, if you're PJ, he closes the game. If you're
Jake,
it's soft lock.
The game actually soft locks.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Which was very unimpressive.
But just like Flowery, who closes out the game on the neutral, or I don't remember.
It doesn't.
Undertale does this. Here,
Yeah.
How about that? I'm not going to say any more than that. Undertale does this.
The pacifist route.
But better.
Yeah. Oh, way better.
Like a million times better. Because I love Undertale.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't get 24 tickets because we're not madmen.
Yeah, there's tickets in the game.
There's tickets in the game, and you collect them. There's like menu options that are like free ticket, and you get a ticket. And what's cool is these are some of the only moments in the game where you see your hand.
Yeah, and you pick
So
it.
you're
You
like-
actually hold up. You have a 3D hand.
Yeah, that's. I always thought those were really cool.
Yeah.
But so if you get 24 tickets and then go back into the game, Hopeless Soul is there, and he's like, "Why are you here? Oh, you have 24 tickets. So you've been not deleting the game to get tickets." And you're like, "Okay, I guess." And he's like, "Well, clearly you need some kind of end boss or something. Otherwise, you're just not going to have any closure." And then he's a 3-stage end boss. This probably sounds familiar to someone.
What?
What? Undertale?
No, original idea. Do not steal.
No donut steal. So yeah, then you have a boss fight with a sympathetic character in 3 stages. That is very fourth wall breaking.
Oh, is it?
Oh, weird.
I didn't play it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't play it
Sounds
either because I'm
horrible.
not a madman. So you have the first fight, and you're in pony mode, like how you've been doing the whole game.
Of course.
Second fight is in actually, if you click through the files in the beginning of the game, there's a folder that has like a little tiny pony game
Yeah.
where you shoot
Yep, I played
in a
it.
shmup. You play that against him, so you have a little shmup section.
Cool.
Again, Undertale, but whatever, it's okay. Whatever. The third section looked absolutely fucking vomit-inducing because it's Pony 3D. In first person, jumping over stuff and shooting this time.
Yeah, that's what I figured was going to happen.
As
soon as you said 3D, I went, oh, this is where you get to shoot.
It looked so horrifying. It looked like if I had laid my beautiful eyes upon it, I would have immediately vomited into my keyboard.
Good.
And then he's like, "That's it. I'm not gonna even quit the game. You're gonna have to quit the game. Game over. That's all there is. That's all the game." When you beat him, he's
Wow.
like, "You did it. Congrats." And you're like, "Okay." This, again, feels just kind of like a
Thank you, Wii U, for interrupting us.
sponsored by Nintendo.com.
Nintendo.com. Home of the Nintendos.
Home of the Nintendos. Do the do. Nintendo.
Naridu.
Naruto?
I don't know.
All right. The We Do. Oh my god.
We're doing
Why doesn't Nintendo just have
a soft drink.
yeah. Or just like
Power
Partner-
up with Nintendo Power.
partner
Nintendo Energy Drink.
Nintendo G drink. Anyway, so he's like, "Yeah, you beat the game. I'm not going to quit the game. You have to quit the game. You don't have to quit the game. You just keep running, you fall off the side, and Pony Island starts over again, but it's the colorful version, and Louie's already fucked up in the face, and he's like, "Welcome to Pony..." It starts the whole first level of that version again, and then it fades to black. There, I saved you a lot of time collecting those tickets, because that's bullshit.
And boring sounding.
And boring sounding.
Wow. I didn't miss anything.
No. So,
Or
that's the,
I didn't get to watch it. You got to explain it in half the time, probably. It sounds great.
so that's the game.
Wow.
Pony Island.
I really like when you walk away from the arcade cabinet, you can see it, and it has a keyboard and mouse. And I went, this is dumb. What a dumb game.
What an odd... It doesn't... Okay, we're in, like, synopsis mode. We've completed the game. We're gonna talk about bullshit now. I mean, the game is bullshit, so we've already been talking about bullshit. Anyway, right away, I was like, you walk up to an arcade cabinet and you're playing like a phone style casual game. I was like, that doesn't meld.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I could reconcile maybe this is the future in an arcade cabinet, and then you go through all those deleted Pony games, and I immediately assumed it was going to be like a Donkey Kong style Pony game, a shmup, like a this or that, like, you know, classic arcade games. But no, like Text Adventure, like, why was this in an arcade?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Or like the Pony 3D, like I would get if it were like insert 3D arcade game here, but you'll fix that in post. I
Yeah,
assume.
I'll say the name of it.
Yeah, it's right over top of it.
Yeah.
Like I'd get that, but it's just like a 3D jump game, which it just doesn't make sense. Or like a devil version of the same Pony. Like, I don't understand. You're in an arcade. This doesn't make sense. Like,
It doesn't.
it really doesn't. Like, it really should have been like you going through a bunch of old arcade games.
Yeah.
That would have made a lot more sense. Like, the first version of Pony Island is like asteroids or something. Space
It's just like
war.
a pony head and he spins around.
Yeah, like, and then it got progressively weirder because you were going to be able to get progressively more graphics. But instead it's some weird iPhone casual game, and it's trying to make a statement about, like, those types of games, but it doesn't work because it's an arcade setting. So, like, the setting betrays the whole point of the game.
There's a lot of flaws here.
Yeah.
The other thing is you're a gladiator
No, you're not a gladiator. You are a Knight of the Crusades.
who apparently knows how programming works.
Well, no, because that's part of the thing. Like, technically, you're not programming. It's just going, you know? You're just clicking shit. Hopeless Soul is helping you. Why no one else has been able to do this incredibly simple task is beyond me.
That's what I'm trying to get at, is why can this person
Do it?
understand it enough to do it when clearly it shouldn't make sense to them.
Yeah, I really
It should be so far beyond them. But I was gonna make a small reference. It's the Pony games are similar to like BioShock Infinite's ending, where there's always a lighthouse. Here, there's always a pony. There's always a fence. Like, why does it always have to be that? Like, why can't you make different games? It seemed really weird. Like, why not?
It seemed like he had an idea to do a cookie clicker style. Like, Cookie Clicker is making fun of those clicker games.
Yeah.
It knows how manipulative it is, and it's having fun with that concept while still being probably the best version of a clicker game all at the same time. Like, this felt like it was like, yeah, I'm making fun of casual, free-to-play, like, iPhone games.
Yeah.
And he was going to make a whole idea based on that, but it's in an arcade and makes no fucking sense at all.
No.
And really doesn't touch on those points beyond a couple instances of, like, you leveled up.
Yeah.
And then it advances in time, kind of, like, time and graphics-wise. It advances to the, like, 32-bit version, where it is now more like an arcade game than it's so perplexing.
Yeah, because I think there's a time skip in the game, or it says, like, 331 years have passed?
I have no fucking clue.
I don't know either. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
Everything in this game is inconsequential.
I thought this game was going to... maybe this is just me thinking the game was going to be really good.
Yeah.
I read a lot of places that were like, Pony Island, most fucked up game of 2016 already. Or it's like, Pony Island, you won't believe... Like, what is this game? Like, it's not really hiding any of that.
Pony Island. Lights, camera, insanity.
Lights, camera, our shoes, feet. Like, a lot of people were like... I kept seeing reaction videos of people like, what is this? Like, what do you mean, what is it? It looked really, normal to me.
It was mediocre.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, the Undertale thing. I just want to point out, because I kept feeling, it's really hard not to compare it to Undertale when it feels like there's so many things almost ripped off wholesale from that game.
Turns out, ripped off wholesale.
Well, okay, so when you click that credits section and you're like, I can't read the credits.
Yeah.
Because I was watching him play that section.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
him as in Jake. That's him. I'm pointing at him. You can't tell it's a podcast.
Oh.
So when you click the credit section, there's like this little thing that comes up that's like credit where credit, and you can't read the last part.
Yeah.
Would you like me to tell you what fonts those are in?
Sure.
Comic Sans, Papyrus, and Wingdings. And it says credit where credit is due.
Stupid.
Which is an Undertale reference to anyone who frequents our Undertale fan blog at
Undertale.webzone.
Those are characters from Undertale. Sans, Papyrus, and WD. He's the secret character, quote unquote. Jake didn't look that much into it. We really like Undertale, but we don't like it like
psychopaths.
Yeah.
On Tumblr.
Like, I find it really interesting, but Jesus Christ.
I have my limits.
Yeah.
It's a fun little game. I don't need any more.
To be fair, I do want to state, I do really, really like the game. So if it sounds like I've become more negative towards Undertale, either one of us has become more negative towards Undertale since we recorded that episode.
It's only because of the fan reaction.
It's only because of them. Like, it makes me really embarrassed to say I like it.
Yeah. I don't even tell people I work with that I like Undertale anymore. Yeah, because they all go, oh, what's Undertale?
Tumblr Tale. Oh my god.
Don't make that reference.
It's horrible. So.
The skeletons might hear you.
The skeletons. So clearly, this game was at least partially in development when Undertale had already been released.
I mean, again, this came out months later, and it was part of a game jam, I guess, at some point. And I guess he went, I can make this into a whole game after playing Undertale. Let's just put a couple of things. Boom, done.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have to make any sense because whatever.
It lacks any of the heart of Undertale.
Any of the production values.
Yeah, somehow. Like, I don't know. It feels really weird when I look at a bunch of story beats in this game and I go, oh, I already saw it done way better like a couple months ago. Like, you're doing almost the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Just worse.
I mean, not to suck Undertale's dick, but the game just kind of feels like a game, like a real game. Like, there's mechanics here. They all make sense. Whereas this just throws things at you, and they go, yeah, whatever.
Well, everything in Undertale makes sense mechanically. Like you said, mechanically. Like, mechanically, thematically, everything comes together.
Yeah.
Whereas in this game, it's like, why am I asking these questions about why is this in an arcade?
Yeah.
Like,
why does the arcade machine have a keyboard and mouse?
Why
am I a person from another time who can understand this?
Why am I sometimes programming, but sometimes I'm a flower, and sometimes they're not related at all? Like,
yeah.
I shouldn't be asking these questions. It should flow and then surprise me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess the point of the game is not to surprise me, even though if you look at any article on the web zones about this game, everyone's like, oh, you'll never believe what Pony Island's about. And I'm like, I bet I would.
It's pretty strange because like a lot of the articles were talking about how good Undertale was, so I was skeptical to play it. And here you have the same reaction, a lot of people praising this game, and then you play it and it's a big pile of shit. You know, it was very strange.
It's just mediocre.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's just not that much to talk about because it's just mediocre.
But it's a $5 game, and I really wish it wasn't. Like, it should be free or $1.
Yeah.
It feels like a 99-cent app game.
Yeah, it does feel like a 99-cent app game.
Like, I could pay $1 and I'd go, yeah, all right, I got 2 hours out of it, whatever.
But people were like, I was reading things where people were like, yeah, I got the really feelsy ending where I almost cried. And I'm like, why? You didn't get a chance to know any of these characters, care about any of them. None of them are endearing except for Louis.
And you kill him.
But he's at least endearing, but no one else is. Like, back to what I was saying about, like, way back, where I was like, oh, this game's going to be funny. Like, it's going to go so over the top that I'm going to think it's, like, it's going to come around and be funny. Maybe it'll go so over the top, it'll come back around and be sentimental. But it doesn't. It just kind of, it gets to a point where it's, like, making these Satan references and kind of being funny, and then just stays, it, like, flatlines up there.
Yeah.
Where I wanted it to just keep going and going and going, like, really crazy, like, I don't know. But it just doesn't. It just doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere. Like, I wish Satan had a better character. Like,
yeah, I want
to know his motivations here. Like, he doesn't have any. He's just Satan. He's just generic Satan man.
I would have been really happy if it
Like, I want to see the turmoil of him trying to create these games. Like, oh, I'm making a text adventure. Like, I want to see his like thought process he had here.
Yeah, some like notes or something would be kind of funny.
Like just a file that has his notes would be more than enough. Like, I don't have to have it thrown in my face, but if I could just read it, and again, it could be there, but I doubt it. It didn't seem like there was much. I tried to explore as much as I could.
Yeah, so did I.
And it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted them to go really, like, when I realized what the game was, which was instantly, I just wanted them to go, because it's so obvious, it feels like that's the joke.
Yeah.
But there's not a joke. It feels like it feels like it was going to make fun of itself, and then somewhere along the line it stopped making fun of itself and started taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Like it really feels like it's funny, like all these games that pretend like there's something else and then they're not, like, yeah, we're making fun of those. And then it feels like halfway through the creation process of this game, the creator was like, you know what? This is a serious game with a serious plot, and you're going to cry.
It's like they played Undertale but didn't understand the nuances of it.
Yes. It does feel very similar.
Like, Undertale has serious moments, but they never feel out of character serious.
Exactly.
Like, they're still funny or silly, even in serious moments. I mean, at the very end, you meet up with Sans, and he's still silly. Like, he never gets serious, even when you go genocide route with him.
Well, he's sillier. Although he does have a really funny dunked on thing, which is really, like, even serious moments are funny. You know, we said this back in the Undertale thing, but it takes what it is. It doesn't feel like it's aping on what it is. Like, it's not making fun of RPGs.
Yeah.
It is an RPG. Like, and it feels like it has respect for it.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like somewhere in the middle. Like, it can't decide what it is. It can't decide if it's making fun of games like similar games like this, or if it is a serious version of one of those games. Like, it has no leg to stand on.
Undertale feels like a love letter.
Yes.
And this one, I don't know what you'd call it.
Doesn't feel like anything.
Yeah, it's just mediocre. Like a mediocre letter.
Like, if I wrote a letter to someone right now.
Well, like if you had to write a thank you note to someone who got you a gift, you're just like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, you just kind of go. Yeah.
Don't even finish the last letter of you. I don't even know what it is. I can't write letters anymore.
Thanks, Grandma.
Thanks, Grandma.
Okay. Anything else?
I mean, I kind of asked all these questions.
Good. I think it was a very constructive conversation.
Did you get tricked? No. Did you get affected by the story at any point? No.
Story didn't even try to help.
Did you find it funny? Nah. It's funny, I guess. Yeah. That's it. That's all there is with this game.
It's just kind of boring.
It's not even it's not even boring. It's just for a game that pretends like there's so much under the surface, it's just this. Like, it's just that. It's just the game. Like, there really isn't a whole lot there. Like, yeah, there's all these little story things, but if I'm not attracted enough to the game to look for those story things, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Like, you can have all the story in there all you want, but what I think makes... I hate to keep talking about Undertale, but again, he did it to himself by even putting this in there. The credit to where credit is due. Like, it's impossible not to compare it to a game at that point when you're going to tell me wholesale that... I keep using the term wholesale.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Don't know.
Did you go to, like, Costco or something recently?
No.
Sponsored by Costco.
Sponsored by Costco.webzone. We didn't do a mail us. If you have Costco coupons, mail them to us at
P.O. Box.
P.O. Box something, something, something.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it somewhere. Sponsored by P.O. Boxes. Sponsored by the
United
U.S. Mail.
States Postal Service.
Do the do. You know, you look at Undertale, and the people who have gone fucking crazy looking for stuff in the game's files, and there's a reason for that. People are really attracted to the story if they feel like it's affected them in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, I've even found that stuff interesting. I wasn't going to do it myself, but I was more than happy to look at what people were saying and all the cool stuff they were digging up. Like, all that stuff was interesting to me because I liked the story, I liked the world, I liked being in it, and even if I could just look at it from a distance, that was kind of fine with me.
Well, even that stuff is interesting in itself. It's like I think I've brought this up before, the Metal Gear Solid 5 never be game over stuff where people are finding files. Like, I don't really care if it doesn't mean anything. It's still an interesting concept, but here the game kind of like bypasses that by including it in the game, and it just feels so lackluster. Like, I don't have an incentive to go look any deeper than this game. Like, there's nothing. I know there's nothing underneath this hood. Like, I got it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's not anything else there. This is a game that came out in January, and no games have come out this whole month.
Yeah.
And that's the reason anyone's even talking about it.
That's what I feel. And it's going to be forgotten as soon as the next game comes out.
Dragon's Dogma. We'll forget about it by the time we beat that game. So.
Probably.
I don't even remember I played this game properly.
We're going to look back at this episode and go, what game was that?
Yeah, it's just a game about ponies, and it would have done its job. Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Good night.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. This game. Oh, final wrap up, I guess. I didn't really like this game.
Oh, final wrap up. Yeah, I didn't really like this game either.
Cool. Good night.
Good night. Do I look like Jack Nicholson?
The golfer?
No, Jack Nicholson. From Crab Nicholson Extreme Sleepover?
Is that the same one?
Jack Nicholson, the fucking actor. Are you okay?
The golfer?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Jack Nicholson. It's the only Nicholson I know.
All right. Let's get this shit over with.
No, you didn't look like Jack Nicholson at all. Either of them.
I had it in the mirror at work really well.
Yeah? Were you practicing?
I can't do it again, but I had it really good.
Why?
Because I look like Jack Nicholson, and then I tried to make it look even more like Jack Nicholson.
Did you take a picture? Did you selfie it?
No, I don't want to look embarrassing. Oh, 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 I don't want to look embarrassing.